Guys, I'm hoping that this is working. This is working. A piece of cake on my phone kind of starts up immediately. I'm not sure who we got in here. Nobody as yet, which is hardly surprising. Yeah, hopefully you just got a YouTube notification. Granddad's junk. Hey, you're there, and I'm here. Steve Sadusky, hey, great to see you. Not to see you, but you know, have you here. And here be part of this live. So, Roy Miller, you've managed to catch up with me, so cheers to everyone. Man, I don't know what the weather's like in your guys' side of the world, but this is pretty miserable here, I have to tell you. So, now, the fun part about using my phone to do this is I've got almost no battery left. So, give me a moment while I go and grab a charge cable and get plugged in. So, let's see. What do we got here? Alright, let's do this. Hang on, guys. If you've hung in with me this long, I'll be organised in about 30 seconds. I don't know. There must be something wrong with my laptop. I mean, it does everything else it's supposed to do, but it just won't go live. And went live from the phone, and it worked perfectly. So, I don't know. Don't know. Might need a double if this is how the night is going. Yes, you might be right there. Alright, we got power into the phone, so that's a good thing. It's not going to die. Try and prop this up here. Hopefully I can get my hand out of the way of the camera. A quick change like that, then I can hold on to it. Rotate it back. Hey, don't do that. It's saying don't do that. Alright, I won't do that. Let me that's not going to work. I'll find something to prop this phone up on. Alright, we just have to hold on to it and drink left-handed. How about that? Alright. Now, I'm not sure where the comments have gone. Josh Homan, good to be here. Good to have you here, man. Upside down under. Adam Clayton. Yeah, I tried to flick the camera around the phone around the other way, but it didn't like that. Charles Dalton. The comments fade away pretty quick. Steve Sadusky. Oh well, you know. I mean, I'm getting laughed at, but it won't be the first time, and probably not the last. So you know, it's all good. So what's been happening, guys? What's new? What's going on? I mean, we've already missed a bit of tonight's live, but hey, there we go. Any weather problems, Kiwi? Yeah, well, it's pretty miserable weather here. I've got to say it's raining pretty hard out there. It was raining and hailing earlier at the workshop. It was really hailing hard. So yeah, really loud, banging on the roof because not a lot of insulation in my workshop. So Andy Nichols, Sweet Skylark. Yeah, it is. It's a cool old car, that one. Right, now I'm trying to figure out how to get the comments to actually stay on the page. Because your comments are coming up very briefly. They stay up for a few seconds and then disappear, which is not ideal. Not sure how I'm going to do that. Not an awful lot of options on the little teeny tiny phone screen. So, Old timer F7. A lot of GM cars lately. It's starting to give me the hives. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, there has been a bunch of GM stuff lately. You're right. It has. Working on a Corvette today, that old 54 white Corvette that we took the cylinder heads off a while back. Finally got the cylinder heads back, and just about that got that back together today. Biggle Bob, someone drank all of my beer this weekend. I think they shrank my pants too. Chris Triumph, hello mate, how you doing? Good to have you here. Steve Sadusky, it was good to see Kev taken along for a ride in that Buick. The funny thing about it was when you throttled up, I heard Kev screaming. Oh, your comment disappeared too. I didn't quite catch the last line of that. I don't know how I've kind of had to hit a couple of buttons to get this thing to broadcast sideways, but that seems to have cost me the comments. The comments factor has disappeared off my screen. It pops up for about 4 or 5 seconds. Yeah, Don's Manufacturing. Hey man, good to have you along. That comment just pops up on the bottom of my screen, but briefly. Top chair. Oh, hang on. Oh, I think I found it. I think I figured it. Old timer. Oh, no, it's faded away. Old timer. I didn't see that. It's an ad on Marketplace. That was all I saw, and then the damn thing's faded away. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Ad on Marketplace up here has a 654 Corvettes and a shit ton of parts for them, 160k. Wow. Wow. Well, 160k for 5 or 6 of them. Well, yeah, that's a lot of Corvettes. I'm just going to try turning this phone up right and see what happens. Oh, it just tells me off. It says, orientation is locked. Rotate. Josh Homan, still pretty expensive. Well, yeah, you can certainly spend a lot of money restoring them, depending what sort of condition those 5 or 6 Corvettes are in. But yeah, and you've also got to have like 160 grand to separate from, if you've got that spare. Charles Darton, sorry I'll have to leave. My son just called. Everyone have a great week. Hey, sorry you couldn't hang out longer, man, but yeah, go and look after your boy. Vilefly eyes the looming broken tree branch over the chicken coop suspiciously with compound eyes. Yeah. So there's some pretty bad weather all over the place, huh? It's a little wild out there, I've got to tell you. Another ad. I missed it. Josh Homan, good week to you and yours as well. Sol Sunson, not quite sure what that emoji is. Let's try this. Volfly Doom is on its way, chickens. Oh, good lord. Soggy day towing. Yeah, I bet it was. Yeah, probably plenty of accidents though in the wet weather. So, what else is going on, guys? Fly more yard work with the pulse saw again. Yep, the wind went. You guys had a lot of hail. We had some mean hail here, man. Old timer sold a bike today, buying one tomorrow. Okay, so you're trying to just increase the collection, decrease the collection, or just trying to confuse the wife? I suspect you're trying to confuse. Fine. Oh, there it is. I'm back. Steve Sadusky, we could use some rain in Florida. Very dry conditions. Yeah, well, it was flooding quite a bit around here driving home. There was there was some heavy, like deep standing water on the roads, and some new ponds had sprung up on the side of the road in people's yards and stuff. It was quite impressive. Yeah, the messages. Old timer sold a Kawasaki 1400cc concourse buying a ZRX 1200R. Okay. Granddad's junk, been working on sheds to get those cars under cover. Got 15 now, not enough shed space. Well, that's a lot of cars, brother. Yeah, you need some sheds to get them all indoors. I managed to get 5 indoors at the house here, and another 5, 6 in the shop, but they're not all mine. Get more messages back. Tom Manley, never enough space for cars. Well, this is true, yes. Any extra space is soon filled up, don't we? We have a knack of finding one more project to fill that space up. Volfly, another immaculate car this week, 1990 DeVille with 53 Ks on the auto model. Wow, that'd be a cool car. Old timer, we started the wood stove this afternoon, 53 degrees, good grief. Yes, but it was pretty hot today, humid, sticky, man. Volfly, word is getting out that you work on a little bit older stuff. Yeah, that'll news will travel fast. Granddad's junk, when good deals pop up, what do? You just have to have it. Well, this is absolutely correct. Yeah. There's certainly less permanent things you could be spending your money on, like this stuff. So, yes, unfortunately I got very limited information on the screen. I can see this. We got 35 in the room, which is good. That's a good number, especially considering the complete and utter cock-up that the broadcast has been. Steve Sadusky, I'm in the same boat with Space for Cars. I have a T-shirt that says, I'm just one more car, I promise. Yeah. Yes, I've seen ones like that. I would get one, but I'm not sure my wife would see the humour, to be honest with you. Old timer, my sister-in-law has a 99 Ford F-150 Lightning I could buy really cheap, probably $3,500. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty cheap. Sure. All right, I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been up to. Really, just a lot of little bits and pieces. The last week or so, working on the 54 Corvette, getting the heads back on. I do have coming up, which I think will be a good video, is we've got coming in, and that's next week now, a 68 Pontiac Catalina Ventura. What is the newest car you would want? I'm not sure what you mean, bud. At least Granny's at least I can milk my own. Keeps disappearing. Year-wise, the newest one I'd work on really is mid-80s would be as new as I would really want to work on. Yeah, mid-80s. Redneck ran out of garage space last year, ended up buying an enclosed car trailer for car number 4. There you go. I think, Bigger Bob, I think he means own. Yeah, I think that's, the newest car I own is a 2023, and that's my Audi, which, old timer, got to say I'm surprised to see you doing donuts with the custom Kiwi Mustang. Mate, that's what you build them for. You don't put, you don't build a 750 horsepower engine to idle around the place. Whenever that car's out, there's usually tyre smoke involved whenever that leaves the garage. That's pretty much a given. But yeah, I enjoy cutting some donuts. Old timer, God love you for it, Kiwi. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking of doing, Redneck too. There you go. Got to do some donuts. Got to kind of get the adrenaline up there a little bit. It's good fun, you know. But just not as you're leaving the car show, you know. Find yourself a nice big car park. Volfly still using his mid-80s scan tool, OTC monitor 4000E. Tom Manley, LOA, have a car trailer full, build a shed out back, driveway full, need more space. Mate, that's just, standard procedure, isn't it, really? Us car guys, especially here in the States. I mean, you know, if you get the urge to buy a car at midday while you're having lunch, you know, you can find something pretty cool by the evening, you know, if you want, and go and buy another one. Don's Manufactory, OTC, I have one of those. I do not own a scanning tool, I'll be honest with you guys. I just don't mess with computerised cars. And that's probably a bit old-fashioned of me, but yeah, you know, so be it. Gretel Thunderbird got a whiff of that. It disappeared. God damn it. I do not know how to make these comments come back up. Steve Sadowski, I don't have a drinking problem, but I do have a car problem. There you go. Old time, I had an injector start crapping out on the Taurus, and that's all she wrote. It just faded away. Yeah, sorry guys, this is not quite going the live I like to have, but yeah, I'm gonna have to try doing it on a different, or get a different laptop or something, because it has to be the laptop, because as soon as I go on the phone, it just connects instantly, and it's using the same Wi-Fi, so it has to be my laptop, I feel. I'll take it back to Best Buys and tell them to fix it. Old timer used fuel injector cleaner and it worked. Yeah, I believe it is pretty good stuff. Taurus have low flow injectors, 14 pounds per hour. That is low. Even me, who doesn't know much about injection, knows that, sort of like 45, 65 pound injectors are not uncommon. So, Granddad's drunk. G'day, Barracuda. Barracuda's in the house. Good to have you here, man. Mrs. Kiwi's out of town, but she did say she was going to pop in later, so we'll see if she shows up. Steve Sadusky, is your screen settings on your laptop too wide, Kiwi? Maybe that's why the... well, because I'm on my phone is the problem I've got. I couldn't get my laptop to work. That would make sense if it was on my laptop, but yeah, it's my phone. And when I do the phone in the upright position, which makes it a bit more miserable for you guys to watch, the comments are on the bottom of the page. But when I've got it on panoramic or like sideways, like it is right now, the comments just appear for about 5 seconds on the left-hand side of the screen, like one at a time. And once they're gone, they're gone. I can't kind of scroll up or down and see them. Tom Mankey, is there a car you sold you wish you still had? Mine's a 70 Dodge Charger. What would it be? There's a couple. Probably it would be a Ford Falcon panel van that I had years ago, which is an Aussie, a thing that they Australian Fords made, and Fords and GM and Mopar all made panel vans, and that was a 302, like a factory 302 Cleveland 4-speed GS, which had the extra scoops in the hood, and just like a higher trim level, and that was a cool old car. But yeah, sold it. Shouldn't have done, but yeah. Ooh, my '89 LX 5 litre coupe, ordered new in the fall of. Yeah, you should have kept that, man. Steve Sadusky, wish I still had my '70 Buick GS convertible. Oh, that'd be nice, a real GS. Wow. I remember the Sandman Holden panel van, bro. Yes, I do. I do. They were cool. So were the Falcons. I don't think the Falcons ever had a fancy, like an interesting name like the Sandman. I don't remember it for the Fords, put it that way. The Mopars or the Valiants had a name, for that van. Can't remember what that is either, but I certainly remember the Sandman. So, old timer, I passed on a 62 Grand Prix with a 421 4-speed. $400. Oh no. Oh. Let's see, Beagle Bob, if you view your own stream on your laptop. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Might be able to see the comments there. Now that is actually thinking. I should have thought of that. Okay, bear with me, fellas. Oh. Bill and Tom Manley. You total one at the drag strip. Now, trying to find. Okay. Well, that's not working. We know that. So we'll get rid of that. Bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to actually see if I can watch my own live stream on the laptop. Right. Okay, hang on, fellas. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah. Hang on. I'm getting there. Kiwi Classics and Customs is live. There was a delay. Ah, there we go. There we go. Pop you there. Now, there's a delay between what I'm seeing on my phone and what I'm seeing on the laptop, but that's all right. I'll just have to not look at that. But I can see all the comments again. So that's kind of cool. Well, I've missed a bunch of them, but hey, we'll, let's just move on. Like, if I've missed your questions, you wanted it. Valiant Drifter, Barracuda Valiant Drifter panel van. That's it. Old time, I missed my '70 Torino as well. Volfly, be right back. Okay, you better happy, man. Old time, and my '69 F250 4x4. Steve Sadusky, cool beans. Right. Yeah, this is much better. Thank you for that idea. Beagle Bob, you can click the 3 dots and choose pop-out chat so you don't have to see the video. Oh, really? Okay. The 3 dots. Hang on. The 3 dots at the side of your message, Bob. And choose pop-out chat. Oh, about the top here. That'll be these ones up here. Pop-out chat. I'll expand that. Oh, look at that. You're a legend. You guys know so much more about this than me. Now I've got to catch up to the bottom. Let me just slide that to one side slightly. I can read them all. Yeah, Beagle Bob, that's been a great help, mate. I appreciate that. Tom Manley had a 67 Imperial LeBaron, had seats so soft, don't make him that like that anymore. No, they do not. They do not, that's for sure. Beagle Bob in the top of the chat. Yes, I found it, but Tom Manley, that reminds me, I forgot about my 69 Lincoln Mark III. That'd be a cool car. Yeah, cheers, Bob. Now, what did I miss out on? Chris Triumph, 54 Jag XKE. I missed that car, and my Model T. Well, that's two very different cars, isn't it? An XKE and a Model T. That's chalk and cheese, isn't it? Tom Manley built a 93 Mustang, wadded it up at the drag strip. Well, that happens. So, let's see. Try and just fiddle that angle a little bit. So, alrighty. Old time, it was a triple black with transplanted 429 in place of the OEM 460. Interesting swap. Mind you, some of the 429s went better than the 460s, didn't they? Andy Nickel, darn customers keep interrupting my day. Mate, I know that feeling. Yeah, trust me, I know that feeling. Old timer, I called it the Coon, it was gangster. Right, what else is happening, guys? Anyway, yeah, I started to tell you this car we got coming in I think it's next week, it might be the week after. Can't remember now. But it's a one-owner 68 Pontiac Catalina Ventura, and the Ventura apparently makes it that even a little bit more rare. It's the very high spec version of the Catalina, and yeah, 428 automatic, but it's a two-door hardtop. So yeah, that sounds like it's an extremely nice car. I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds like it's going to be awesome. But I do like that body style, that 67, 68 hardtop, two-door hardtop, and yeah, to get one, it's done. Trying to remember now. I think he said it had done 60,000 miles. So, the Lower Man's Vintage Garage. Woo, finally found the right feed. Great to see you. Hey man, I'm so glad you managed to find us. Because yeah, it was a bit of a shit fight, I'll be honest with you. Could not get my computer to load the live. It just would not. So I'm actually coming to you kind of a mixture of my phone and my laptop. I'm reading all your comments on my laptop, but the camera feed is coming via my iPhone. So yeah, needs must, I guess they say, and yeah, here I am. So Beagle Bob, is your F100 going to have the same bolt pattern front and back, or are you swapping something about the Crown Vic front end to match the wheels you bought? Okay, it's a bit of a mismatch, a mix-up at the moment, because yeah, it's the F100, as clearly you're aware, is quite a very different bolt pattern. It's a full inch different. The F100 is 5 on 5.5. The Crown Vic is 5 on 4.5. So what I've done is I've got the front wheels that are on the truck, as we speak, are 5 on 4.5, and I've got adapters on the front. Which I'm not a big fan of adapters, and I've done it that way just because I need to drive the truck. And it's not a small job doing that Crown Vic swap, and I just don't have time right now, but I do need the truck. So I got some adapters for the front to take it to the small Ford pattern, and then as soon as the Crown Vic goes in, the adapters will go away. And on the back, I've just got the original F100 wheels on the back, and as soon as I get the correct wheels for the back, I'll re-drill the rear axle, because there's plenty of room on the flanges to actually re-drill the axles and the drums, and re-drill that to 5 on 4.5, so everything will match. So that's kind of the plan. It's a set of adapters is like $40. So yeah, it was for $40. I've got some decent wheels on the front. That way I didn't have to buy 4 tyres that I didn't want. I ended up having to buy 2 tyres that I didn't want. But hey, what do you do? I needed to drive that truck because my trusty old Lincoln, took a shit. As you guys, were watching last week. Yeah, my 2010 Lincoln died, and that's my work kind of to and from car. So I needed something, so that's what I did. Beagle Bob, does that truck have an 8.8 rear? Might not be too hard to get a whole later model axle. Yeah, I've thought about that, and that might happen. It might. It's got a 9-inch at the moment. That's what they came with. I do need to check and see what the widths are like on the 8.8s. But that may be an option because as you say, they're 5 on 4.5. So if you get the right one, they've already got a limited slip diff. So that's a definite option. Kind of cross that bridge when we come to it, I guess. We're still about a month away on getting the correct rear wheels, which is a bit of a drag, but hey. Old timer, unpopular opinion. Marge needs tubs, 3-foot wide tyres in those tubs and a shitty 446 pack. Oh well. What's happened to my... Okay, now I've lost the screen on my computer. What's that about? Oh, no, there we're back. Okay. I just decided to have a little sleep there for a moment. Pop's Mustang Shop. Why don't you like adapters? Because why don't I like adapters? Really just the extra load that it puts on wheel bearings and stuff like that, because they're about 1.25 inches thick. So it moves, the scrub radius of the wheels out quite a bit further. I would rather just have the wheels bolted straight onto the hub without the adapters, and they work. These people that put 3-inch thick, spacers on their Ram trucks and stuff like that, that's just a disaster waiting to happen, in my opinion. It's a means to an end in my case. But yeah, I would rather have the wheels bolted direct to the hub, not through an aluminum spacer. Granddad's chung. Old timer is blasphemous. Poor Marge, hope she's not listening. I do have a 440 6-pack, but I don't have 3-foot wide tyres. No, it would be an interesting look. I'll give you that. But no, that's not what I want to do with her. Victor Souza. Oh, hey, man. Good to have you along. Steve Sadusky, 68 Pontiac Catalina is a nice car. Yeah, it is. It is. Sol Sunson, what do we got? Little trophies there. Cool, man. Barracuda, I really would have liked to have had a panel van, much roomier than a VC Valiant's back seat. Well, yeah. Yes, they most definitely were. I can attest to that. Steve Sadusky, Kiwi, were you able to talk with the owner of the black Mustang you worked on for a video? I haven't as yet. He's just changing jobs, so I didn't even kind of harass him with it at the moment. But we'll make that happen. Yeah, we'll make it happen for sure. It's a cool car. Driveway of Misfits, Mr. Freemesser, welcome along. Volfly, frozen pizza night, yay, throws confetti at the stove. Old timer Beagle Bob with a pistol grip 4-speed. Oh, there you go. Volfly means I don't have to cook much tonight. That's very true. Tom Manley, yes, pistol grip. Yeah, Challenger that I had in, that TA 6-pack Challenger, that was the first car I'd actually driven with that pistol grip, and it was way nicer to drive than I really ever thought it would be. I thought that was a bit gimmicky, that pistol grip, but when you actually drive it, it's really good. I like the feel of it, and I gained having actually driven it. So it just goes to show you shouldn't judge. Yeah, I've got a whole new appreciation for those pistol grips. I think they're great. Chris Triumph, not a racer without a wheel spacer. I haven't heard that one before. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't agree with you there, to be honest. Barracuda, a warrant of fitness issuer told me that wheel spacers are okay if they're glued to the back of the wheel. Does that make sense to you? No, it does not. Wow, I can't believe they said that. Well, I mean, I do believe you, but I'm incredulous. Glued to the back of the wheel. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, that makes no sense at all. Probably gives you a little insight onto the type of people that are warrant of fitness inspectors. They read it all out of a little book and think they know about cars. And probably some of them do, to be fair, or maybe even a lot of them do, but some of them don't. Yeah, Volfly glued, ? Yeah, that makes no sense at all. Beagle Bob, I think Mark would be coolest as an original looking car. Well, you see, she's already not original looking because I've dropped her about 3 or 4 inches. They were very high. So yeah, I've kind of pulled, I've lowered the ride height quite a bit, wider wheels. So it's not, depends I guess to be fair, it depends, how you quantify original looking car. If you don't mean 100% original, then yeah, we're on the same page. But I definitely want to retain her. I would say 90% of her look, just a bit lower. Tyres filling out the fenders a little more, which is why I went to 15 by 8s instead of 14 by 6s. And it really, in my eye, and it's just my eye. To my eye, that's a huge improvement to it. Just that little bit lower, a little bit fatter looking. When you kind of see her from behind or directly in front, just the fenders are now full up with tyre, which is why that's how I think most, if not all cars should be. But yeah, Barracuda shim type alloy spacers. Yeah. I don't know why he would have said that, but I really couldn't disagree. I think that's just nonsense, to be honest. Gluing them to the wheel is not going to help. I don't see how that can help in any way. Grease Spot Garage. What's up, Kiwi? Well, what's up? What's up? It's hot at work. It's wet. It's raining. It's been like 3 seasons in one day. We've had the sun out baking. It's been absolutely pissing down with rain and hailing. We actually did have genuinely golf ball size hail today. And yeah, that was that was like some of the biggest ones were that. There was nothing. There wasn't like all over the ground golf ball, but there was a handful of big hail. So yeah, it was all over the map. So yeah, that's what's up. We got lots going on in the workshop, but that's not really new, but it's what's up. Grease Spot Garage. I am building a full custom 63 Biscayne on my channel. LS engine with a Gen V side draft. Okay, what's a Gen V side draft? I'm not familiar with that term. Barracuda, my spacers are 5mm thick, but still not glued. Mate, I would not mess around gluing them. 5mm is, in American speak, that's, what is that? Yeah, 1/4 inch, just under. So yeah, that's not a thick spacer. That I'd have no, I think that's though something that thin is absolutely fine. When you get over an inch, it's like you're just putting a lot of extra load on stuff that's really just not made for it. Primarily your wheel bearings, your studs and lugs. But yeah, 5mm that's fine. Beagle Bob, I've wanted to lower every car and truck I've ever had. Wife stops me from dropping my 150 a couple of inches. I just don't tell her you're doing it. Yeah. Don't lie to her about it, but just don't, just do it. Just do it. And she'll probably wonder why it looks better, but not quite maybe figure out why. If I think about it, and not that I was keeping it from her, but I don't think Mrs. Kiwi realises that, Marge is about 4 inches lower than stock. Maybe not 4, maybe 3. But I don't think she even knows, but it's just not, it is what it is. That's the height I want it, that's where I put it at, and yeah. Yeah. So why did she not want you to drop it a couple of inches? It just doesn't want you to mess around with it. Tom Manley, yes, I had a few issues. Used to copy the cars when drawing. Okay, not sure. Steve Sadusky, the patina fits Marge perfectly. Yeah, it really does. And, it's, I don't know. Sometimes I think I'd like to paint Marge and sometimes I like to keep it how it is. She's for me, a little on the heavy side on the patina. She's pretty heavily patinaed. And it's got a few rusts and a few dents that I'd like to make better. But how do you do that without spoiling, the patina? What do we got? Driveway of Misfits. Wife's sunbeam done yet? Okay, thank you. Gonna just say no, it's not. But it's no buts. Just it's not done. Too many customer cars, but I'm working my way through them. I'll be onto that sunbeam one of these days. One day. Yeah, but yeah. Grease Spot Garage, 8-stack individual throttle body intake. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to sound awesome. The induction sound from that will be awesome. You can't beat, a bunch of throttle bodies or a bunch of like side draft carburetor or stack. That carburation induction noise through multiple throttle bodies sounds just fantastic. It really does. It's, dare I say it, better than the sound coming out the exhaust. Not everyone's going to agree with that, but yeah, a 4-barrel just does not have that throttle sound that the individual throttle bodies have. I guess it's all to do with the airspeed, and I don't really know, but the throttle bodies when they're pulling some RPMs sound superb. Volfly, still need to practice TIG welding so I can make a long ram manifold someday and waste more time tuning it. Yes. Donkey. Hey, Kiwi. Donkey from Texas here. Good to have you along, mate. Good to have you along. Beagle Bob. Maybe when I don't do all my work in the driveway. Oh, well, yeah, fair enough. Beagle Bob. She drives it more than me and doesn't understand why I want to spend money on it. Yeah. Yeah. It's, of course you want to spend money on it. We always want to spend money on our cars. That's just what we do. Women like to spend money on makeup and we like to spend money on our cars. That's just how it is. They spend money on makeup to make themselves look better. We spend money on their cars to make the cars look better. Seems fair. Seems fair to me. Now, what have I missed? Have I missed any comments here? Old timer, who remembers the cartoons car comic? I seem to have a vague recollection of it. Yeah, we didn't see. Oh, excuse me. I seem to remember seeing the odd edition of that in New Zealand, but of course, that was in an era where that stuff, the world was a lot bigger place back then before the internet and stuff like that. So, magazines we would get from the stateside would be 3 months old by the time we got them, because they're heavy. Magazines, paper magazines, which you don't see that much of anymore, but back in the day, they were heavy, so they all came sea freight, and that was a 6-week journey, port to port, and then obviously you had the time involved getting them to the port, loaded on the ship, getting them, then arrive in New Zealand, unload them, get them to the stationers, the places that sold the magazines, or the subscription people. So yeah, by the time you're done, it was about 3 months, most of the magazines. So yeah. Now we seem to. Why have I stopped scrolling for some reason? Okay, I'm seeing comments on my phone that aren't here on my computer screen, so bear with me, guys. Oh, there we go. Done something here. Barracuda. Some spaces are universal with oval holes as mine are. I've heard it's much better if they exact match to the bolt pattern. That's probably fair, yeah. Again with your ones, but how thin they are, I don't think it's a big difference. But when you get a thicker spacer, say if you go to like half, 3/4 inch, yeah, the studs want to torque and twist, and they'll kind of lean over under acceleration. And so if you've got an oval hole in your spacer, that's going to allow them to actually bend and torque twist. Whereas if they threw a nice snug hole in the spacer, through a thick spacer, they're not going to want to roll over as much. So I would agree with that. But yeah, with your 5mm ones, I really wouldn't worry about it. Big or bowl, Volfly, what do you drive daily? Okay, Volfly. Oh, quick open question. Is there a side draft carb out there that flows about 350 CFM? I've been challenged to get a Ford Escape 3-litre resurrected without a computer. 350 CFM side draft. I know they make 45 mil side drafts. That would be, yeah, like all the Webers, side draft Webers and Delortos and stuff like that. They're 40s and 45s, and I know they made a 48 downdraft, which was an IDA Weber, and I think they made 48 mil side drafts as well. But I think a 45 would probably, I'm trying to make a mental picture in my head of remembering the 45s and then remembering like a little baby 2-barrel downdraft carburetor. And they're going to be pretty close to the same size. So yeah, I would say a 45mm side draft would be just what you want. And that would be plenty enough to run a 3-litre for the horsepower that you're going to get out of it. Yeah, 45-sided DCOE side draft. Well, yeah, Delorto or Weber, yeah. Volfly, 95 Caprice wagon. That'd be cool. LT1 and all. Nice. That'd be cool. Tom Manley, Kiwi, I agree with that. Well, thank you, sir. Yes, that's how I look at it. Beagle Bob, to be fair, once my Mustang that has sat for 2 years is driving, she would probably be much more open to persuasion. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, we tend to start these projects and not finish them, don't we? That's a bit of a side effect of our hobby. Yeah, there's a lot of us out there that have projects that have dragged on and taken way too long. Snow Crusher. Have you heard of a carb tuning device called a carb cheater? I've heard of it. I don't know much about it. Yeah, I haven't. It's not something I've delved into. I saw a few little bits about it. I kind of got the feeling from the comments that it was a bit of a gimmick. Yeah, don't. Yeah, I'm still not really sure, but there's been lots of gadgets over the years that are supposed to, help carburetors and do this and do that, and typically they tend to be a bit gimmicky. So I'm probably a little bit negative on that sort of thing before I even start. So, and then I saw a few negative comments, and just didn't look into it any further. Which so yeah, possibly not the right person to offer an opinion, because it's really not an informed opinion. Barracuda, if there was no women, we wouldn't have cookies. Yes, that smacks a little bit of sexism there, Mr. Cuda. But we'll let that one slide. Granddad's junk, very fair. I suppose cars are a wee bit dearer to beautify. Well, yeah, they are. Well, it depends what you do. It depends what you do to them. But it's certainly, the potential is there. But I was watching a TV show the other day, and they were looking at these $60,000 handbags, and I'm like, wow, my hobby's pretty cheap, really, compared to a $60,000. Can't remember the name of it. I asked Mrs. Kiwi, I said, is that for real? And she's like, oh yeah, that's they go higher than that as well. And I'm like, oh my God. For a purse, like a handbag. I was like, wow. In my head, it's like, well, you really must dislike money. Like, you'd have to not like money to want to spend that much on a handbag. But I guess they don't understand why we would be prepared to drop, 40 grand on an engine, that made huge horsepower. I do think you get a bit more bang for your buck. Because you can't pick up a 40 grand engine, can you? Not on your own with your bare hands. You can certainly pick up a little purse. So pound for pound, you're getting a lot more. But hey, that's how I justify it in my head. Driveway of misfits. Real men bake their own cookies. I have been known to bake the odd cookie, I'll be honest. And conventional cookies too, not special cookies. I've never actually baked a special cookie, but yeah. I've sampled a couple, but not baked them, no. Beagle Bob, Volflo, I know a guy who swapped a wood panel Roadmaster onto a K10 truck frame with HMMV wheels and tyres. Wow. Volfly, be right back, pizza ready. The old oven timer beeping, is it, bud? Josh Homan, I've got a ton of projects on tap as well. Fortunately, I'm an experimenter, not a car builder. Well, there you go. Hey, as long as you're having fun, that's the thing. As long as you're having fun. Barracuda, ever heard of Colour Tune? No, I have not. Colour Tune. Is that? Yeah, okay. Tell me about that. Chris Triumph, Kiwi, the Isle of Man TT is coming soon. Yeah, but I guess it is that time of year, isn't it? I do have I'm in awe of the guys that do that ride those bikes at those speeds on that course. I do have a bit of an issue with the organisers. I don't think it's okay that, I think the average is 1.5 people die a year on average. So, one person 1 year, 2 people the next year, it's an average. It sounds funny, 1.5 people, but it certainly isn't funny. When that many people die at a racetrack, something needs to be done. That's too many lives. That's too many sons, too many husbands, too many daddies. That's not okay. They need to do something, and I don't know what, because it's a massive track, it's a massive lap. So how would you make the whole lap safe and in an affordable manner? So I know, like, what I'm suggesting really means like not having the race anymore, and like I don't have. It'd be great if I had an answer and say, hey, just do this, and it'll stop all the deaths. But as much as I admire them, I have an issue with that many people dying. Andy Nickel, don't know about cookies, but I used to make awesome brownies, if you didn't mind the occasional tweak. That kind of brownie, okay. Beagle Bob, when you end up caving in and painting Marge, what colour? Okay, stay right there, because I have an idea and I might be able to show you. So I'm going to wander off, but I'll be in earshot. Only be a second. Stay with me, guys. Here are some colours. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on camera, but try and do that. Now, ignore what it is. It's a little tin that tea bags came in. But you see the 2 greens in there? That lighter green metallic, and then the tealy kind of colour. That's kind of what I'm thinking about for Marge. And the light colour on the roof, and then that darker teal green on the bottom. I think that would look pretty slick and in gloss. Whereas that's kind of a matte colour, but yeah, it's I just don't know how well you're going to see it, but it takes a little bit of imagination, but that would be the 2 colours. So yeah, that's the answer to your question. There you go. Steve Satusk, I baked cookies once and they were considered weapons. That is funny. That's funny. Right, so we have landed on our off-topic subject for the night, which is cookies. You just never know, do you? Snow Crusher, as I understand it, it uses a wideband O2 sensor through an ECU to adjust a controlled vacuum leak to adjust AFR to a desired target. Okay. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Should you... That could work. That could work. If the ECU's quick enough and you've got a good enough O2 sensor, that could work. So the computer just lets more air into the system that's not actually running through the carburetor. That could work. That could work. That would wonder how that would work and how well that would work in a cold environment, because it's only going to add air, which would make it run worse when it's cold. It probably, just thinking out loud, honestly, it probably wouldn't work so well in a cold run conditions like a true EFI would. But in saying that, it could help your your light throttle, partial throttle quite a bit. That's an interesting concept. You actually educated me a little, and I might actually just go back and have a closer look at that, because that does make sense in my head, and that doesn't sound to me like a gimmick. That sounds like something that could really work. Barracuda, I miss the days when I'd sit in the lazy boy, bang on the wall to get Mum's attention and get her to make me a pizza. Yes. Yes. There's not much a mum wouldn't do for their son, is there, really? I wish I had mine. I wish mine was still around, I can tell you that. Josh Homan, perhaps build a track for it so they're not racing through the town. Yeah, that's a really hard one with that Isle of Man TT, because its fame is because it does run through those little villages on the Isle of Man, and like everything that makes it as dangerous as it is what makes it as famous and make, you know, as it is, and it makes the riders want to go there. And I guess they weigh up the risks, and I'm sure there's a few hundred of them racing, and I guess percentage wise it's low, but it's not low for the person who's left behind, you know. Granddad's junk. It's funny how they moan about 1 or 2 deaths in racing, but it's okay to kill heaps fighting a non-purpose war. Yeah. I can't disagree with you there, man. That is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Beagle Bob, two-tone. Yeah, well, Marge is white and red now, so I just think the two-tone green would be quite nice. I love a light green colour. I know not many do. In my mind, anything looks better than rust. Oh, my phone is showing backwards. Oh, it could be too. Are you? Is that real cars? Is that backwards? Is it? Yeah, I can't do much about that, but I'm sorry. Josh Homan, yes, if cookies are hard enough, they could be used for that or building materials. Snow Crusher, you manually adjust your carb to a slightly rich condition, and the ECU automatically fine-tunes for optimum. It sounds like quite a good idea. Yeah, as long as it's able to, if the ECU is clever enough to react fast enough, you know, to the information it's getting from the O2 sensor, and that kind of speed and pretty affordable technology is there. My understanding, anyway. I'm not really not really. That's. I'm not any kind of a computer expert, you know. Looking at what cars do now and how many milliseconds computers are doing stuff in on car engines and stuff like that. I think that technology's out there to be able to do that quick enough. But I think you would need a pretty darn good O2 sensor, because some are not as good as others. So I think you would need a pretty good one, and you'd need a pretty, reasonably powerful ECU that can keep up. Because it's no good adjusting the mixtures from 3 seconds ago. You really need it. It's that millisecond type stuff, I would think, to really work well. Right, Steve Sadusky, now that you show the colour scheme for Marge, I agree she would look awesome. Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, my wife's tried to throw this tin away for several years, and I had this long before I had Marge. I just liked those two colours. I really do. And it's me. We all like what we like, don't we? So, but yeah, I think those two colours together would be really something. My laptop's gone to sleep again. There it is, back again. Volfly, I suspect idle speed control might be difficult with that system. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would be more light throttle, part throttle, wide open throttle. I don't think idle speed, because you've got such a small amount of air, if you add much to it, it would speed up too much. So yeah, but it could give you quite an economical carburetor, really. Could do. Beagle Bob, last I checked, man had free will, let them race. Yeah. There's arguments for and against, and it's pretty polarizing, those events like that. You will get the people that want to stop it, and you'll get the people that want to race. You know, it's their choice. It's people's individual choice, and yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. There's not really a right answer. I understand why it keeps going, and I because I'm not really a motorbike guy, so you know that it leaves me on the outer a little anyway. But yeah, I have seen what's you know, the not personally, but I know, you know, motor racing guys that I've known that have died, and I see what's left, the mess left behind. Well, not the mess, that's not the heartache that's left behind, and it's like, oh, like, yeah. Sometimes it's a balance. It's free will. You're absolutely right. Sometimes we need to be protected from ourselves as well. Sometimes young guys that are very driven, no pun intended, you know, don't always make the best decisions. So yeah, it's not something I'd want to get into a big argument with you about. But you know, by any means, because there's definitely two ways of looking at it. Yeah. But yeah, I can't, you know, last I checked, man had free will, let them race. I can't argue with that. It's a tough one. Andy Nickel, I'm with you, Bob. I drove enough rust buckets when I was young. Now I prefer nice new paint. Fair enough. Michael Welsh, this was happening in unlimited hydroplane racing, drivers dying because of blowovers. Then came the enclosed cockpit. Yeah, and that has saved some lives, you know. And you can't knock, you know, wanting to save lives. That's not a bad endeavour, is it? So yeah, the people that came up with that, you know, the halos on the open wheeler cars has saved a number of lives. You know, like on Formula One and Indies and stuff like that. Yeah, you can't knock them for at least helping to minimise the loss. You know, but yeah, none of it happens for free. That's the problem. It's that age-old thing of the money. You know, where's the money going to come from to develop these things? Where's the money going to come from to put hay bales all the way around the Isle of Man? It's like, that's just not going to happen. And of course, you know, the bikes get faster and faster. So, you know, I mean, it's just 100 mile an hour is on you in a heartbeat on these racing bikes. They're fast. The acceleration is phenomenal. Biggle Bob, I think if you're messing around with computers and OS2 sensors, you may as well go to EFI. I guess it depends a little on the cost, really. Yeah, it depends a little bit on the cost. But yeah, you know, who knows what will come of that? It, you know, may not be a great success, but it might, you know, might be an idea that leads to something else that is. You know, all these things are a gradual evolution of ideas that are combined with a little, you know, someone has an idea here and then there's a little idea there, and yeah, you know, and suddenly you've got something that's really working well. So yeah, who knows? Barracuda, Gunson colour tune. I've had no experience with it. Apparently it involved a see-through spark plug to see the colour of the combustion flame. Huh. A see-through spark plug. Wow. Okay. I understand what you're saying. The colour of the combustion is you can get a lot of that. Yes, I see that, but I also think you can, you know, with EGTs, or exhaust gas temperature sensors can tell you a lot about what the combustion's doing. You know, your AFRs will tell you a lot about what the combustion's doing. But yeah, it's interesting. Fish side. Does anyone else think the importance of checking for vacuum leaks is under talked about issue with older car setup? Yeah, you're probably right there. fish sides, you're probably right. That is a thing you really need to check. You know, like if you're going to start tuning on an older engine, very important to make sure that that's kind of the basic stuff really, is to make sure there are no vacuum leaks. And a little teeny tiny vacuum leak is not going to have a massive effect, especially with when the throttle's a little more open. Small vacuum leaks will affect your idle, but not affect, like from 50% throttle up too much. But yeah, still an important thing. You've kind of got to have your basics right. If you have your basics, good, then moving forward from there, everything will be a lot easier. Valve fly, okay, vacuum leaks are considerably underestimated with any car setup. I think, I agree with valve fly, and I think it's just part of having the basics right. You got to have your valve lash right. There's a bunch of stuff you need to have right, because otherwise you're just trying to cover something else up with some other aspect of the tuning. Granddad's junk. The colour scheme will look absolutely beautiful on Marge. She will be very happy. Well, thanks, man. I'm glad you guys like it. I was hoping it wasn't just me that liked it, but I think my wife thinks I'm a little nuts that I'm holding on to this little tea can, because it literally is tea. It's, what is it? Earl Grey Imperial Tea. If I can get that in the right part of the camera. Oh, it's going to be backwards, isn't it? Sorry, guys. That does actually say Earl Grey Imperial, if you can read backwards. I'm glad you guys like it. That's cool. Valve flow, vacuum leak testing, carb equals use gum out or similar, EFI equals use water. Okay. Steve Sadusky, everyone, don't forget to give Kiwi Live a thumbs up. Yes, likes awesome, very helpful, helps the profile of the channel, helps me, helps the live get a bit more attention. So yeah, be awesome. Give it a like. Thank you. Now what are we? Snow Crusher is talking about the Quadrajet E4 ME carbs. Okay. Oh, here we go, Snow Crusher. Back in the 80s, GM made a carb that jet needles that were solenoid actuated for AFR adjustment. It was called the Dancing Needles carburetor. I have not heard of that. Okay. And that's a Quadrajet E4ME carb. So E is electric, for electric, I'm guessing. Matt's Rat 500 Kiwi. What was your favourite car when you were 20? When I was 20, oh gosh. When I was 20. I'm struggling to remember, to be honest, but I'm trying to think what it would have been. 20, I was I into rallying when I was 20? I'm trying to remember when I first got into rallying. I'd have to say, when I started rallying, my favourite car then was the Audi Quattro. Like the Group B Audi Quattros were just phenomenal as a race rally car. As far as old American cars, honestly, mate, I don't recall. I could say almost definitely it would have been a Mopar. I just loved the old late 50s, early 60s, through to about 67 Mopars. Kind of all or any of them, really. But it's we're talking about 43 years ago, mate. So I don't honestly remember exactly what it was. Barracuda, vacuum leaks from the throttle shaft wearing on the car body can be a problem. Absolutely it can. My Carter BBD was rebushed years ago with bronze bushes. Problem solved. Yeah. And I've got a video in the works of rebuilding just a 2-barrel little Ford Motorcraft carburetor. and it's kind of a back to the basics video, and some of it I'm sure for some of you guys that are more than capable of rebuilding a carburetor, you know, it'll be kind of information that you already know, but hopefully it'll help out a few of the guys that are a little nervous about diving into their carburetor. But yeah, there's a difference between putting a rebuild kit in and actually refurbishing or remanufacturing your carburetor, and that's the reason I say that is because, yeah, rebushing throttle shafts, that is something, like I can throw a rebuild kit through a carburetor in a fairly short amount of time, you know, and put, you know, new seals, new accelerator pump, all that kind of stuff. But when you get into the bushings and like drilling the shafts out and putting a bush in and getting the bushing to the right size of the new throttle shaft, you know, that's another skill set altogether. And that when I get carburetors like that, they go off to the people that basically remanufacture them. But yeah, leaking that black Mustang that we were talking about earlier, that twin 4-barrel FE, big FE one, that the carburetors on that, it's got the real deal, the correct Holly carburetors on for it, but they're very, very worn in the throttle shafts, and it has a very fluffy, unpleasant idle. But you know, he's got to get 2 of them remanufactured, and it's not, you know, he's going to do that soon. But yeah, they need to be sent away and actually fixed properly, not just kitted, you know. Snow Crusher, if the carb cheater computer fails, you still have totally manual carb to get you home. The vacuum valve fail in the closed no leak condition. Failed fuel injection equals up the creek. I mean, you can't argue that. That's pretty true. And yeah, the cheap injection systems that are out there today do have a habit of failing or just running badly. So yeah, at least if it does, you know, fail, it defaults to you know, no leak condition, which is like not having it at all. But yeah, it still runs on the carburetor, so that is a plus. I see that. Driveway of misfits. Fuel leaks too. Had to replace the original carb on my Beetle due to that. Yeah. That's the thing. All these old, you know, I mean, you can't, you know, other than buying a brand new Holly or a brand new Quick Fuel and stuff, like no manufacturer is putting new carburetors on anymore. So a lot of the carburetors we're working with are 50 years old, you know. So, and guess what? They've all done a lot of miles and they're not as new as they used to be. So yeah, leaks, fuel leaks, air leaks, all that sort of stuff are kind of go hand in hand with carburetors these days. Michael Welch, he was showing that he could adjust the air fuel using his phone app. Driving up a mountain, it would adjust the air fuel as you climbed. Driveway of Misfits, Soul X30 knockoff sold by Jigs. Runs like a champ. Good to know. Matt Rat 500. I was thinking of Cortina. No, those Cortinas, yeah. A Lotus Cortina. Yeah, an old Lotus Cortina, that would be pretty cool. But regular Cortinas, no, they weren't really on my radar as a 20-year-old, no. Nowadays, I could appreciate, you know, a Lotus Cortina, but probably not back then so much. Driveway of Misfits, those 80s Audi Quattros were cool as freak. I always liked the design. Yeah, yep. And the sound, they've got such a unique sound. If you guys have not heard a Group B Quattro, like just YouTube it. YouTube Group B Audi Quattro rally car, or just Group B Audi Quattro, and yeah, you'll be hooked. I mean, they don't sound like a V8, but they sound just awesome. They really do. You can't beat it. You really can't. It is a unique, because they're a 5-cylinder turbo, so you get a lot of that turbo flutter. but yeah, the sound of them was, and at revs, like 8,000 revs, they sounded just, it's like, ugh, just, yeah, give you goosebumps. They just sound amazing. Barracuda, I remember being at the Queenstown Classic Car Races. It was raining and an Audi Quattro really demonstrated its superiority in terms of grip around the corners. Yeah, they were a bit of a beast to drive. They didn't handle that good compared to the modern all-wheel drives, but they were just brutal, just absolute brutes. Tons of horsepower, tons of turbo lag, which I know it's undesirable, but that's just how it was back in the 80s. They hadn't really got on top of getting rid of the turbo lag, so you just had to drive around it. But they'd have quite a bit of lag, and when they came on, they just came on like someone just smacking you in the back, like ramming into the back of the car with something big. That's how brutally they accelerated when the boost came on. It was quite amazing. Driveways Misfits. J-Bugs is an air-cooled VW retailer. Okay, J-Bugs. All right. I made the incorrect assumption. Well, there you go. That's why they say not to. Volfly, my rooster is clucking like chicken that just laid an egg. He might be bisexual. I think that. Fallen limb, hit him on the head. Oh, my goodness. Hit on the head and switched his flipped his switch. Yeah. That's funny. Granddad's junk. I only ever owned a Mark 1 Cortina with a 3.5 litre Rover V8 Ford Transit narrow diff. Nice. That would have been a neat little car. Fishside, the AMC Eagle was a great all-wheel drive car from the 80s that's underrated. I've seen pictures of those. I've seen them for sale, like on Facebook Marketplace. And I must admit, they interest me. I don't know anything about them. But I don't even know the transmission layout. Were they like a north-south V8 with a transfer case that sent the drive back up to the front, or was it transverse, or like how were they set up? I really don't know anything about them, but I've seen them and thought that's kind of cool. Chris Freemesser, which penitentiary is Kevin this weekend? He's not, mate. He's out on bail. He's sleeping peacefully at the workshop. He got a run around the block in that Buick, that video I posted tonight that we filmed yesterday. He got out on the ragtop Buick and had a ball. So yeah, he's been a good boy. Barracuda, when the Queenstown circuit was dry, the car to beat was a 66 Plymouth Fury with a 426 wedge engine. Okay. 66 Fury. Well, the 426 wedge was a pretty darn good engine. Some would argue it was better than the Hemi. Because the Hemi is, I can't say it's overrated, but it has, it's legendary, and the legend is a little bit built up, probably a little bit beyond where it truly deserves to be. But yeah, they, no, I mean, if I had the chance to own a 426 Hemi, I would be all about it, so don't get me wrong. And the 426 Hemi, for 99% of the public out there, has got a whole lot more mana, shall we say, than a 426 wedge. But yeah, whether it's deserved mana, that's a whole nother debate. And yeah, probably one that would be hard to win, I would say. Beagle Bob, I think Kev has been in a sweatshop making lots of merch for us to buy. There you go. Talking of merch, plenty of shirts available if you want them. So yeah, shoot me an email, go on Spotify, from my, it's all in my homepage on YouTube. Go sign yourself up for some Marge sent me t-shirts or Super Kev t-shirts. And look good at the next car show you're going to. You'll be the envy of everybody there. Maybe. All right. Granddad's showing Kev's on parole. He's cruising in the Buick. There you go. Yeah. Volfly, you sold me a queer rooster, Mr. Tractor Supply. Oh my God. Oh dear. Beagle Bob, I think I'll go buy some after the stream since it's been bought up. There you go. Awesome. I'll look out for the order. Steve Sadusky, Kev us out on good behaviour driveway. Kiwi took him for a ride in a bit. I did. Lower Man's Vintage Garage. I'm back. Had to discuss my nephew's desire to fix up a something. Well, yeah, you got to give good advice to the young ones, don't you? Chris Freeman said, good behaviour, question mark. I think it's one of the 4 signs of the apocalypse, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, it must be, what do they say, snowing in hell? Or hell's frozen over or something, yeah. Michael Welch, just like a Jeep with all-wheel drive, 2 to 3 inches higher than two-wheel drive. Oh, this is the Eagle, AMC Eagle. Just like a Jeep. Oh, okay, so it's the same 4-wheel drive setup as a Jeep. Yeah, that's... Okay. So, really, live front and rear axle, or was it independent front? I must admit, I was assuming it would be an independent front suspension of some sort. Hopefully it was. But, yeah, that beam front axle... they work great for a true off-roader, like a Jeep. Is it the only way to go? But for a little bit lowered, really, road car or crossover, then that independent front is a big plus. Lower Man's Vintage Garage, a 78 Rustbird. Granddad's joke, I would love a Gen 1 Hemi, too expensive, so gone with the Poly as a substitute. Yeah. Yeah, you can buy 2 decent cars for the cost of a Hemi. 2 quite decent cars for the cost of a Hemi engine, People Bob, I've seen where hell froze over. It's just south of the Trondheim airport in Norway. Volfly, prepare the fiberglass resin, Lower Man. Yep, you can do a lot with fiberglass. Just, yeah. Oh, computer's about to shut down again. Right, what's happening, guys? A comment. Did I jam the comments again? No, I haven't. No, it's just getting a bit quieter. What do we got? 8:47. Well, we're heading around to that 9 o'clock mark. And now I know I started late, and I'm sorry about that. I had a long weekend. We had some friends staying. We had a long, very entertaining but a little demanding physically weekend as far as lack of sleep. So just a heads up, 9 o'clock, I'm out. I got to go to bed, get my beauty sleep. I mean, it's hard to stay looking this good without a lot of sleep and imagination. Chris Triumph, bourbon time. Exactly. Well, it has been for the last 2 hours, brother. Volfly, see many ice giants around Trondheim, Beagle Bob. Yeah, I've heard about them. Steve Sadusky, Kev looked happy in that Buick. It'd be hard not to look happy in that Buick. That was pretty cool. I got a lot of time for cars like that. It wasn't super special. It wasn't super pristine, but it was just nice. I mean, people have been teasing me lately for saying nice too much, but I don't know. There's a lot to be said for a car that you haven't got, like a second home value invested in it, and just something you can just get in and drive. You don't have to worry too much about it. You're not every time you get out of the car, you don't have the polishing rags with you. and trying to keep it like 100%, but just an honest car that just can be worked on, driven to around the place, without having to panic about, like if you go to Kroger's, you've got to park at the far corner of the car park because you're scared anyone's going to come near it. So yeah, I quite like those cars are growing on me. That kind of decent survivor that you can just drive, and because I admire those people that are out on a Sunday driving that car, more than that car that's going to be fantastic in 5 years' time. They're having a whole lot of fun in between time. A lot to be said for that. Beagle Bob, have you decided to save the Lincoln or sell it as a mechanic special? I haven't really decided completely, but it's really the smart call is going to be selling it as a mechanic special, honestly. Beagle Bob, have to be up early to work on the Sunbeam, no doubt. Exactly. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Granddad's saying, it's all cool, brother, not a problem. Lower Man's Vintage Garage. My nephew has spent a shit ton on the rust bird, trying to coach him, but to no avail. Oh, hey, I mean, good on you for helping him, mate, or coaching him. Like, he'll learn. Your nephew will learn. He may look back and think he should have done it differently or whatever, but he's learning. And good on you for helping him. Michael Welch, funny how when your eyesight goes, the better looking you get. This is true. What are you trying to say, Mr. Welch? What exactly are you getting at there? You're saying I must be blind. Is that kind of the inference there? Volfly, no one listens to you, especially when you have the right answer, Lower Man. Yeah, the young ones, I don't think we were that much different. We had a plan, and it made perfect sense to us. 40 years on, it's a little bit easier to, eyesight going or not, it's a little bit easier to see the error of your ways, like 40 years later, than when you're 20. Beagle Bob, Volfly, I don't think so unless they were at the bottom of a bottle of Aquavit spiced vodka. Yeah, Chris Freemasser, some people need to learn lessons the hard way. Yeah. I think that's a guy thing, honestly. A lot of guys, not all guys, but a lot of guys. Granddad's junk, the big buzz is being able to do rust repairs yourself. Very expensive panel work. Yeah, rust is expensive. No, because it's time consuming to do properly. If you're going to, cave and pave it, it's different. But yeah. Volfly, supposedly some tall people there. Nordic people supposedly are taller on average. Okay. Didn't know that. Barry Cooter saw a YouTube video recently, people in remote Jackson Bay with all the wheel studs snapped on one wheel. They had to disconnect and drive to Wanaka for new studs. Poor quality parts are out there. Yeah. Over talking them will do that too. If they had someone that was just hammered them home with a decent sized impact, we'll do that as well. It can be cheap studs. Kids, they always want to learn things the hard way, Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah, I don't think they choose to do it the hard way, I think they just don't realise. Because I know I look back and think, shouldn't have done it that way. But I did, and I thought I was right, but yeah. Chris Triumph, Kroger parking lot slope to the back corner so the loose shopping carts find the nice cars. Jeez, you might be right there, man. Oh, you don't think that's a thing really, do you? Good Lord, that would be terrible. But yeah, that's a scary thought. Hello, man's vintage. Good night, all. Hey, good. Thanks for hanging with us, man. Thanks for being here. So yeah, see you next week. Beagle Bob saw a troll. Maybe it was just a man in a speedo with a case of beer wandering the woods, but I think Danny DeVito was somewhere else. Oh dear. Yes. Right. What else have we got going on? What's happening, guys? We're kind of running out of steam. We're heading to 9 o'clock. And I know I'm running out of steam. So, yeah. Okay. Right. Well, what have I got coming up? We'll be working on that little Ranchero again tomorrow. So just doing a little ignition upgrade on that, putting the Pertronics ignition in that, and taking that for a test drive. So watch out for that one. That Ranchero, that was a popular video. You guys liked the Falcons and Rancheros and stuff like that, though, and like that Comet. They're popular videos. Got a lot of views. So yeah, we'll be doing another video on that Ranchero and taking it for a test drive, see how it goes. Barracuda. I know someone who was driving a van. He got hit in the chest by an overtorqued stud and nut from a passing bus. He thought he'd been shot. Oh wow. Yeah, I guess yeah. Wow, so it came off at speed. It didn't just sort of dribble off and land on the ground. All right. Snow Crusher, great show, Kiwi. See you next week. Yep, see you next week too. All right, guys. So yeah, look out for the Ranchero. That's coming up in the next week. Ranchero, we've got that Catalina coming in. We've got the Red Mustang to wrap up some air conditioning on. And what else? I don't think we're doing... I am getting ready next week. I'm going to be hanging out next Tuesday. So hopefully I won't be late for the show. But next Tuesday, I'm spending the day with Kevin Tates of Patrication fame. And we're putting new fenders and new outer fenders, new inner fenders, and new core support on the front of Old Blue. So that's next Tuesday's day done. But that'll be a video that will be broadcast through AMD products. So that's not, Kevin Tates or a Kiwi YouTube video, but it will be on YouTube, but it'll be through the AMD channel because they're supplying all the parts. So lucky me, I get a nice brand new pair of fenders, new core support, because Old Blue's core support is rotten, like really rotten. So yeah, I do the work and help. Well, me and Kevin do the work and put all that on. Kevin will video it, and AMD will be broadcasting it on their channel. So have a look over there at AMD, Auto Metal Direct, and you should see Old Blue getting a bit of love. And then the same thing's happening probably another 6 weeks down the line with the short bed conversion. So yeah, things are happening, things are coming up. But yeah, it's dangerously close to 9 o'clock. What are the last few comments? Everyone's saying good night. Granddad's junk. Take it easy, guys. Take it easy, guys. Great chat. Barracuda, lucky didn't get him in the throat or head. Well, yeah. Well, all right, guys. Again, it's been great, as usual. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for the input. Thanks for the laughs. You guys always give me a bunch of laughs, which is great. Hit that like button if you can. It just helps kind of just... we get a lot of views after the end of the live, like through the night, into New Zealand and Aussie, where a lot of those guys can't watch because the timing's wrong. And a few more of those likes just helps, persuades YouTube to bump it up, kind of the list, and promote it a little bit more. So those likes do help. So I appreciate that, guys. In the meantime, yeah, get out there, work on your car. Summer's here. You need to get out and drive those cars around at the weekend, or do a bit of work on Saturday, drive them Sunday, and just have some fun. get it, use your cars, have some fun, and look after each other. All right, guys, I will see you same time, same place next week. If I get a chance, I'll take my damn laptop in and see if we can't figure out what the heck this drama is with doing live streams from a laptop. It's really not that hard, but kind of got to say it must be my laptop. So I'm going to try and get that fixed for you guys, and we'll be in full-size screens. We won't be in reverse, and all will be good with the world. So yeah, Firefly, this concludes tonight's broadcast. Indeed. All right, see you later, guys. I'm out. And I have to pick this thing up and figure out where the end live button is. I think it's that one there. All right, guys. See ya.